Hi guys, hey, Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates, and happy second day of the 12 days of Christmas. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. Yeah, I decided to do these 12 days of Christmas, so that means 12 Facebook Lives straight right in a row, just having some fun, just creating a card or any other project that kind of speaks to me. So I think if you guys know me, you know that I love pattern paper. This designer series paper, I don't even know if I grabbed every single design in it. It is called 'Tis the Season, double-sided, and it comes 6 by 6. So I love the greens. There's the shaded spruce, the garden green, and then the reds are the real red and cherry cobbler. Like I said, I am going to today let the designer series paper do the talking. Or do all the work. I guess I have to do the talking. So anyway, this is the card then that I created. And it uses the paper and just very simple. And I even decorated my envelope. I am trying really, really, really hard to do my envelopes along with my cards. I always do the insides with something. Here I just happen to have another strip of leftover scraps of the designer series paper, but I always forget the envelope. So I'm going to show you what I did there to create the envelope. So same papers, I'm just going to do a different design of them, so you can kind of see all the different patterns that are in this pack. So shaded spruce is my card base. It is cut at 8.5 by 5.5. This score line is at 4 1/4. I have my 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of white on the inside, and again a strip then that I had left over of the pattern paper. The insides that I'm going to use, this stamp set, A Merry Hello. Now this is actually from the Holiday mini catalog, and it is a hostess set. If you're interested in this stamp set, you know, just have a party, collect a couple orders from friends, or if you're like me, you can do it all by yourself, and you could then get that as your hostess gift. So that's what I used for the inside. Real red, again, that is also 4 by 5 1/4. Now let me bring back the sample. Excuse me, you don't see much of the real red, it's just right in here, but I decided I wanted something in which to adhere all of my pattern papers to, so that's why I did cut a piece to use, even though, like I said, you don't see very much of it. I just have a little strip of white that I stamped my sentiment on, cut it to size, and then banner cut the end. That sentiment, let me show you, that one is Festive Post, is where that sentiment came from. So those are the two stamp sets I used, and very little stamping, but more on the way of the papers. So, all right. So let me show you the papers then. So I have a piece here. I have 3 strips, and each one measures 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. What I actually did was I just cut a 3 1/4 by, excuse me, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch square piece of the pattern paper, and then cut it in the 3 strips. So that's 3 3/4 by 1 1/4 is what each one measures. And then I have another piece then that will come across the bottom. Now this is 4 inches wide and 1 1/2 inches. Okay, let me do that. Yeah, high. Okay, so it's 4 by 1 1/2. All right, so let me get some adhesive. When I'm dealing with stripes and strips like this, I love to use my liquid glue. Gives me that little bit of wiggle room. I also like to start on the ends, and another reason why I liked having this piece of the real red cardstock is this gives me something then that I can just line this up, top and side. All right. So let me get now to this piece. I just need to move it around so I can see where I'm at. So this one actually can go together pretty fast. So once you get all of your papers cut, you're good to go. It really does come together quite quickly. So, all right, so let me now get the middle piece in. So, and now this one will just be flush to the top, and then just try and eyeball that it's centered between the two strips then. I believe this to be, I think of it as grout lines, like whenever you're laying tile. So let me just move that up just a smidge if I can. There we go. Okay. Now my 1.5 by 4 inch piece is just going to come down here at the bottom. Now whether, you know, if there might be a little bit of space, you might overlap a little bit on the bottom here of these strips, that's okay, because we're going to put some ribbon there to cover that up. So don't worry about it. But again, I do try and have it flush to the bottom and the two sides. And yeah, it pretty much fits right in there, just like a puzzle piece. All right, so here we go. Before we adhere this down to the card, I want to get some ribbon here. And I love this metallic edged ribbon. There's either this one, which is the white ribbon with the silver, or there's vanilla ribbon with gold. So I just wanted to go with the white ribbon. Now let me bring back again the sample, and you'll see I just tied a knot. So I'm going to just show you a way that I like to do it. I will just go ahead and kind of cover up, like I said, that seam where the two patterns of paper went together. And I wrap it around to the back, and I just use Scotch tape to adhere this down. All right, pull it nice and tight, not too tight. All right, and now I just come in with the ribbon again, and I will tie just one time. I'm not going to tie a full knot. I feel like I can tie it tight enough. If I tied it again, then I feel like then the knot gets just too thick. If you find that it's pulling at your cardstock, then because I have Scotch tape on the back, I can just kind of let loose of it and give it a little bit of additional space then in that ribbon. So all right, so let me see what I can do. Funny thing is, when you're cutting off your ribbon, it's like, oh, one's too long, so you cut a little bit off of there. No, now the other side's too long, and you just keep going back and forth between the two tails. So okay, so now we are ready to adhere this down to the card base. So again, if I can find where I threw it, there we go. Let me go ahead and get this down to the card base. And there it is. Again, like I said, I love having the paper do the work for you. Now, back to the ribbon and this knot, if you want, don't be afraid to put a glue dot underneath there if you don't like the fact that it's kind of moving around, and if you want to secure it. So, you know, that's up to you. So, all right, I have my sentiment strip, and it already has a couple dimensionals on the back of it. So I am going to put it on this side, flush against this edge here. Okay, and I'm going to pull in some red rhinestones to embellish a little bit. I'm actually only going to put 2. I know. I always say use 3 or use an odd number. Today I'm only going to use 2, and I'm okay with that. So, and there, the card is complete. So let's, though, remember, we have the inside decorated. Let's make sure we do our envelope. So what I like to do there is, now the measurements for the paper is going to be different based on the envelope that you use. I have Stampin' Up's medium white envelopes. So this is the measurement I do. Then I have it as 6 inches long and then 2 1/4 inches wide. Okay, so I will put a little of my glue on here. I just like to put it along the edges. All right, and then just slip this up to the fold line or the score line of that envelope. Okay, so this is where that score line is for the envelope, where it's going to fold over. Okay, so now once that has a second to dry, I'm going to bring in my scissors and get to work just trimming off the excess. This, I think, makes the envelope just look so fancy and finished. So I really like doing this. Again, you could stamp on the front of your envelope, on the back of the envelope, along the flap. Any of those are definitely options. I like coordinating with this because I don't have a lot of stamping going on. That's why I like to use then the paper, so that I can again let that sing. So, all right, let me bring these back in. There we go, the one we created today, and the first one, the sample. So there we go. Hey guys, thanks for joining me here on day 2 of my 12 days of Christmas. Be sure and come back tomorrow for day 3. It is going to be, tomorrow is Friday, and so it will be at 8 p.m. All right, I have to adjust these times because of my work schedule. So I appreciate you coming and hanging with me, and have yourself a great day. All right, bye now.